Hey everybody, I'm Scott Weichel. You're listening to My Kind of Country. Thanks so much for joining us on a Monday night. And man, the Christmas season is fast approaching. It's actually really here now. We're after Thanksgiving, so it's time to start thinking about Christmas. And there's no better way to do that than listening to some fantastic Christmas music. And this year we've got a fabulous new album from my friend Randy C. Moore. It is simply called The Christmas Album. He's got a great mixture of traditional Christmas classics and also some brand new songs. We're going to feature a bunch of those for you tonight. It's a pleasure to welcome Randy C. Moore to My Kind of Country. Randy, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. Merry Christmas, Scott.
Well, Merry Christmas to you and yours as well. And boy, it's sure coming up fast.
Well, it's like a birthday. It comes around every year, so you're not going to skip it. That's what I tell people about New Year's Eve all the time. You better go ahead and hire me because you're not going to be skipping New Year's Eve. So
that's right. Well, speaking of hiring, you've been pretty darn busy this summer. I've seen a lot of your great stuff on Facebook. It looks like you're doing a lot of fantastic shows down there in Texas.
Yeah, we seem to be. I seem to be pretty much tearing up the Texas circuit, one little town at a time. I'm very grateful, and I've told people, I love being here because I'm from Texas. I grew up in Texas, and I moved to Nashville, and Nashville was a great experience for the very many years I was there. But I got to tell you, Texas is being awfully good to me. So there's no looking this gift horse in the mouth, that's for sure. I'm having a lot of fun.
There's a lot of great people down there, a lot of great places to play country music, and a lot of people that sure enjoy it, that's for sure.
Well, for country music, Texas has pretty much cornered the lion's share of the market for many years. Texas and Oklahoma are big country music markets, so there's a lot of country music down here, and it's primarily it doesn't just survive; it thrives, down here quite well. So it's an easy place to play music like I'm doing. So I'm having a great time.
That's fantastic. Yeah, and the weather cooperates a little better too. You don't get the winter blast like we get up in these parts.
That's right. We can throw a few more fiestas than you guys.
That's right. Well, some years ago, you had sent me the Little Drummer Boy, which you did a fabulous version on, and I've played that on my show every Christmas since you sent it to me. And now you've got an entire new project to go along with that song, and it's simply called The Christmas Album. You can get it, folks, at randycmoore.com, and it's available, of course, at all your digital streaming outlets as well. And you can get a CD there at Randy's website. Randy, what inspired you to go ahead and do a full album?
I had no intention of doing a Christmas album for many years. I've been under the pre-assumption, and still somewhat am under the pre-assumption, that all the great Christmas albums have pretty much been done by all the great artists. I had a song that I wrote with a couple of friends of mine, a guy named Jesse Hunter and a lady named Dottie Moore. We wrote this song years ago. It's called Born in a Barn. And so last December, when things were quite slow, I got in my studio and I started working on it. I started working on a string arrangement and all different stuff. The next thing you know, this song sort of just came to life, the feeling of it and the intensity and the emotion. And I thought, if I can find this kind of emotion in some more songs, and some uniqueness like I found in Little Drummer Boy, I might think about doing a Christmas record. So it wasn't long after that I wrote a couple of newer songs that were Christmas songs, and I thought, okay, looks like I'm on my way to making a Christmas record. So once I started recording these things, I remembered that my friend Roger Cook, who many of you folks out there would know Roger, he actually wrote another Christmas classic years and years ago for the Coca-Cola company. It was called I'd Like to Teach the World to Sing. And Roger's been a Nashville songwriter for many, many years now, and he's written songs for Don Williams and George Strait, and a lot of great artists have had number one hits with his songs. So he played me this song a few years ago, and he said, if he's English, he says, I've got a new Christmas song I'd like to play for you. It's called I want for Christmas is peace. And he played it, and it was just, I was just like stunned at how simple and how great this song was. And when I started doing this album, I decided to call him up because I thought, well, there's no way this song is still laying around. It's too good. And Scott, lo and behold, he said, no. He says, nobody's recorded it here in Nashville. I just said, I'm amazed. It's such a wonderful song. So I asked if I could do it, and he said, absolutely. So it's the first track on the Christmas album. It's called All I Want for Christmas is Peace.
All I want for Christmas is peace. All I want for Christmas is peace. Let the guns fall silent everywhere. Every battle cease. All I want for Christmas is peace. All I want for Christmas is love. All I want for Christmas is love. No more hunger, no more strife. That's what I'm dreaming of. And all I want for Christmas is love. Bethlehem is calling. It's time to make a wish. Let's all leave our children a better world than this. All I want for Christmas is joy. All I want for Christmas is joy. Happy faces everywhere. Every girl and boy. All I want for Christmas is joy. Christmas is peace.
I have a few songs that people are familiar with. One is called Silver Bells, which is a great Christmas classic that was my mother's favorite song, so I decided to put it on there. And then I did I decided I would do Silent Night, but I knew the story a little bit about the song Silent Night and how it came to be. I'll share this with your listeners real quick. Silent Night was written in Austria by someone who basically was doing church music in a little Austrian church. Just before Christmas came, there was a river that ran through the town, and it flooded the town, and the church organ was damaged beyond repair for the Christmas Eve service. So the guy, his name was Hans Gruber. He was the organist and the musician, and then his friend had these lyrics of this song Silent Night, and so they sat down and they composed it where on a guitar, and so that was the song that they played for the Christmas Eve service. This was like 1811 or something, way back.
Wow.
But I decided one of the best things to do would be to sort of kind of pay homage to that. So I've got Silent Night. It's called Stille Nacht, Silent Nights. I'm singing part of it in German and then part of it in English, and the arrangement I'm really pleased with. So I hope people will enjoy that.
It's beautiful. And your German is spot on. I actually took 4 years of German when I was in school, and you're spot on. It sounds fantastic.
Okay, great. I'm glad, because there was a guy who is from Germany. His name is Willie, and he lives here in East Texas, and him and his wife saw me one night, and I told him, I said, I really need to make sure that I get this right. And he was real casual about it. He says, well, German people, he says, they won't get too upset. I said, no, I said, someone will notice if I'm not singing it correctly, my pronunciation. So he sent me a little thing on his phone where he sang it with the right pronunciation. So that really helped a lot,
Oh, yeah.
Stille Nacht, heilige Nacht, alles lebt, einsam ward, nur das traurige, heilige Paar. Hol der Knabe im lockigen Haar, Schlaf an himmlischer Ruhe, Schlaf an himmlischer Ruhe. Silent night, holy night, shepherds quake at the sight, glory stream from heaven afar. Heavenly hosts sing Hallelujah. Christ the Savior is born. Christ the Savior is born. Silent night, holy night, Gottes Sohn, Hovilag, radiant beams from thy holy face, with the dawn of redeeming grace. Christen deine Gebrut, Christen deine Gebrut. City sidewalks, busy sidewalks, dressed in holiday style. In the air there's a feeling of Christmas. Children laughing, people passing, meeting smile after smile. And on every street corner you hear silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Strings of streetlights, even stoplights, blink a bright red and green as the shoppers rush home with their treasures. Hear the snow crunch, see the kids bunch. This is Santa's big scene. And above all this bustle you hear silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Silver bells, silver bells. It's Christmas time in the city. Ring-a-ling, hear them ring. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Soon it will be Christmas Day. Very soon it will be Christmas Day.
Well, you mentioned the spirit of Christmas and what Christmas is really all about, and another side to that has always been Santa Claus. There's a magic that happens when you're a kid and you get to do the whole Santa Claus thing. As a parent, it's just the best thing. And then as they get older, that kind of dispels the whole rumor of Santa Claus. But you actually kind of discuss that in this song, and it's called "There Ain't No Santa Claus."
Well, yeah, I mean, I have all this proof. People are, you got people running around all the time trying to prove the earth is flat and we didn't land on the moon and Elvis is still alive. And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. There's a lot of proof that Santa Claus actually exists. I mean, look at all the stuff I got when I was a kid, Come on, seriously. So I just decided to chronicle all that just for good measure. And, in case it ever comes up in some sort of a legal battle at some point, sort of like when Miracle on 34th Street happened, maybe this will be another piece for the jury to decide if the existence of Santa Claus. So there you go.
There you go. Well, I still believe in Santa Claus, so you're in good company. I think that's great.
Me too.
And another song too that really talks about the true message of Christmas, and this is another original that you did. It's called "Is This All That Christmas Means?"
Yeah, I think that started out with a song that I wrote with my uncle years ago, and it sort of inspired this song. The song he and I wrote was a little song called "Don't Take the Christ Out of Christmas," and I thought, well, this is good, but it only kind of gives me part of the picture. So I decided I would just kind of like make it a little wider scope and include as much of what goes on or what seems to go on every year in and year out as I could. So it's more of an observation than anything. I mean, half that stuff in that song I'm as guilty of as anybody else, kind of, forgetting what the real message and what the real meaning of it is all about. I don't pride myself on preaching to people and telling them what they should do. I hope I pride myself on teaching myself things when I come up with these things. Is this all the Christmas means? Is an observation, and also probably me reminding myself, well, now, just make sure you know what this really is all about.
I hear children singing jingle bells, Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer. Their hearts are filled with happiness, knowing Christmas Day will soon be here. And in their eyes are glowing dreams of Technicolor toys and things. I wonder as I listen to them sing, is this all that Christmas means? And I see people in a hurry, overloading up their cars with merchandise. They all seem to need to worry, did I buy enough and at some bargain price? And the one gift that's too hard to find, frustration in those shopping lines. It all looks like a disappointing scene. And is this all that Christmas means? Where is the peace on earth and goodwill toward our neighbors and our friends? What happened to that silent night when God became a little child to save the world from misery and sin? Am I missing something in the translation? Is this how it's supposed to be? As I wonder to myself, is this all that Christmas means? I feel the hungry eyes of a child on a Salvation Army billboard sign, and a homeless veteran hoping for an extra helping hand in these hard times. While people with unwanted gifts, puppy dogs, and this don't fit. Every year it all turns out the same. And is this all that Christmas means? Let's find a little peace on earth and goodwill toward our neighbors and our friends. Let's bring back that silent night when God became a little child to save us all from misery and sin. We don't have to go on dreaming of a better way and how the world should be. If we all just remember this is all that Christmas means. La 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 la. La 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 la.
Another song, I'll Be Home Next Year. This is kind of talking about soldiers that can't be home for Christmas, and with wars that are dragging on and things like that. It's a very, very interesting and very unique story that you told here.
I'll Be Home Next Year was inspired, and actually it was co-written with a friend of mine. His name is Perry Rohrer. He was stuck in Nashville and thought he was going to be stuck there all through the Christmas season. He was from Pennsylvania. He didn't know if he was going to be able to get home for Christmas because he had come down. He was writing songs. He had a job, but he wasn't making much money. He wanted to get back home to his wife and his kids. So he came over with a pretty sad story, and I said, Perry, I said, what if we made this about a guy and a soldier, someone overseas who's serving in the military? And he thought that was a great idea, since his dad had been in the military. My dad had been in the military. In fact, I've read letters that my dad has written to my mom, during that time. And they're, they get to you. You go, man, this is our military folks really sacrifice so many things that we don't have a whole huge perception of. So I thought Perry and I thought we'd try to capture that in that song. So anyway, that's kind of how that one came about.
Well, it's one thing I really like about this album. You've really done some new Christmas songs that are fresh, but you've also really paid homage to the traditions and the traditional songs, and your song selection is excellent on this album.
Oh, thank you. I'm pretty proud of it. For a record I didn't intend to make, I'm really proud of it.
And I heard The Bells on Christmas Day. That has a unique story, and if I'm not mistaken, that was originally written as a poem. Is that right?
Yeah, that was Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. He was living in the Northeast. I think he may have been living in New York, but I'm not sure. But he was living in one of those larger cities in the Northeast, and this was during the Civil War. And he was very distraught around the Christmas holidays. One year, his son was actually serving with the Union Army, and he was very distraught by the message of Christmas and the bells and the singing and all the joy and everything. It really disturbed him because from what he could see, there wasn't a whole lot of peace and love and joy going around. There was a lot of strife and a lot of conflict and a lot of killing, and there were these causes that were opposing causes, and he just thought, how can people say there's peace on earth when all this is going on? So in his poem, he starts at one end of the spectrum, and becomes very pessimistic, and then he finds some optimism in there somewhere, basically telling people, well, no matter what, God's in control, and He's going to work this thing out, no matter how badly I feel about the way things are. So the whole song really tells that story. If the listener follows along, they'll hear all those types of pieces. But yeah, it's from the 1860s for sure.
I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. They'll ring and singing on its way, the world revolve from night to day, a voice, a chime, a chant sublime of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then from each black accursed mouth the cannon thundered in the south, and with the sound the carols drowned of peace on earth, goodwill to men. of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Bowed my head, there is no peace on earth, I said, for hate is strong and mocks the song of peace on earth, goodwill to men. Then peal the bells more loud and deep, God is not dead, nor doth he sleep. The wrong shall fail, the right prevail, with peace on earth, goodwill to men. I heard the bells on Christmas Day, their old familiar carols play, and wild and sweet the words repeat of peace on earth, goodwill to men. With peace on earth. She thought by Christmas he'd be home, but the war dragged on a little too long. He called to say, I'm gonna miss a lot not being there. The sounds of our boys slowly sneaking down the stairs to find the presents. Oh, Santa Claus left them there underneath our Christmas tree. Then he said, next year I'll be home for Christmas. Next year you can plan on me. While I'm over here, fill your heart with Christmas cheer, and I'll be home next year. As the day drew near, it hit her hard. From the front lines came a Christmas card with words of peace on earth on a starry silent night. Mary and Joseph looking down upon their newborn child. She opened up the card to read what he wrote inside before he signed with love and kisses. He said, next year I'll be home for Christmas. Next year you can plan on me. When you think of me this year, fill your heart with Christmas cheer, and I'll be home next year. Well, it was just about a year from last December when his time was done, he finally made it home. She gazed upon the little card shining in her hand, and she read the promise that he wrote one Christmas Eve ago. Next year I'll be home for Christmas. Next year you can plan on me. When you think of me this year, fill your heart with Christmas cheer, and I'll be home next year. So think of me this year and fill your heart with Christmas cheer, and I'll be home next year. She thought by Christmas he'd be home.
And as per usual with any of your albums, the production is fantastic. You've got great musicians on here. Tell me a little bit about the backside and the production in this project.
Most of this started out here in Texas in my studio, and it was I've gotten where I'm crafting my records in this manner a lot of times. It helps me to kind of work out everything that I need to work out, and then once I have, sort of the skeletal work of what I need, then I kind of decide who I think might be able to, kind of make my imagination, complete on it. So Greg Morrow's playing drums. He's a fine session drummer and live drummer as well. Heck, he plays those Amy Grant Christmas shows, and he also plays for Bob Seger on the road and stuff like that. My friend Norbert Putnam is playing bass on a couple of these songs because, quite frankly, I needed Norbert's sound and the way he approaches the bass on a few of these things. The one that I first needed him on, then I got him to do a couple of others just for fun, or because I knew he would do a good job. But I got him to play this song, Christmas Day in Memphis. And one of the reasons why I wanted him to do that and Greg to do that is Greg is from Memphis. He grew up around the Memphis sound. And Norbert played on a lot of Elvis Presley records, and I thought, well, this has an Elvis Presley feel to it. So he's playing on that. And then, of course, our good buddy Tony Harrell is playing piano on several things. He does a wonderful job. These guys are friends, and they are just incredible musicians. I'm fortunate to be able to have them in my employ, as we would say. So.
You're a terrific arranger too. You do such a great job putting all these songs together, and they just have every single one of them can just be showcased and just shines.
I've kind of made a rule that if I can't stand to listen to it, I don't think I need to let anybody else have to put up with it. It's gotta be right to me. So it's an album that you can play every year. It's hopefully the record is timeless enough to where it's going to be something that when people are listening to it, or if they get a copy of it, they'll be able to enjoy it, for many years.
Absolutely. And that's a cool thing with Christmas songs when you stop and think about it as a writer and a performer. There are so many Christmas classics that people really only listen to once a year, but when they do, everybody knows the songs, they know the words, and it's that's a pretty amazing thing to have a song that fits into that little notch and year after year becomes an instant classic and is always remembered.
Well, and that's really why you see so many artists will on labels and things like that. They will make a Christmas record because singers love singing Christmas songs. Okay, and I'll tell you a secret. This will be a secret for anybody who's a musician or anybody who's looking for a girlfriend. Girls love Christmas songs. They just love them. Okay, I'm telling you, girls love Christmas songs. So you can't go wrong if you sing a Christmas song to a girl that you that you're interested in.
There you go.
So, but there's a thing about doing a Christmas record, and everybody has their own approach to things like that. But usually, for country artists, it's really more something that they're doing for their fans. And I think that's kind of neat. It's kind of neat that you can get an Alan Jackson, Christmas record, or a Clint Black Christmas record, or Reba McEntire Christmas record, any number of country artists, from the classic folks to the more modern ones. it's like it kind of all goes together. Country music singers and Christmas music kind of all go together, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And country music fans are very loyal to who they like, and they like to be able to hear Christmas songs from that particular artist that they really love. So that's a great thing you've done here. And if I may go on a limb, I think one of the songs that may become a Christmas classic and people are going to love it year after year and remember it and sing along with it is a song that you wrote. It's the last song on the project. It's called Christmas Day in Memphis. I absolutely love that song.
Thank you. That's kind of a one that really hits close to home for me. That the song is actually the story of the last Christmas I spent with my mom. We were in Memphis, Tennessee, and she met my dad in Memphis. She was working as an office supervisor, and she met my dad there, and they were young folks. And so the very last Christmas that Mom was around, it was just me and her. And I was playing in Tunica, Mississippi, and I said, "Hey, we want to go up to the Peabody and have Christmas dinner?" It was Christmas Day, and she goes, "Sure." So we went up there, and a very unique thing happened that day. It started snowing in Memphis, and it hardly ever snows. And it was snowing on Christmas Day in Memphis, and it just all the images in that song are all just basically. I just drew straight from the well. It all was right there, right, just sitting right there. So it's a pretty emotional song, and I'm happy with it. And when I listen to it, I can see my mom. So it's kind of neat.
Oh, that's great. Well, I love that one.
That really touches me. Thank you, Scott. That's you don't know how special that song is to me. So thank you.
Oh, it is the one, and I really think folks need to listen closely to it. We're going to play that for you tonight, as well as some more of these great songs from the Christmas album by Randy Seymour from Highway 59 Records. Folks, you can go to randyseymour.com and get a copy of this, or you can download it. And of course, Randy's other fantastic albums, including Lufkin, which we did a feature on a while back, and so many more of his great songs and music. You'll be able to get there, and make sure you go get a chance to see him in concert if you can do that. Randy, what's coming up for you in the new year as far as tour dates and things of that nature?
Well, here in Texas, we're sort of growing my brand, so to speak. So we have several things on the horizon, a couple of festivals that we'll be doing, and I've made it my mission to try to play as many of the smaller towns in Texas and play for people and just basically go to where they're at. When I lived in Nashville, people would come to Nashville, but when people came to Nashville, they would listen to all kinds of music. So if you go to somebody's town and you play for them, they'll look for you when you come back. So that's kind of my goal at this point, is just to keep growing that and keep having fun. And I had a song recorded by Ronnie Millsap and Vince Gill this past year. They did a song called Big Bertha, which I wrote with Carl Perkins. So
yeah.
I'm looking to just keep going in that direction too. See what happens along that. It's crazy business. You just don't ever know. A friend of mine once said, "You never stop paying your dues, because if you do, they'll throw you out of the club."
That's right. That is for sure. Well, Randy, as always, it's a pleasure having you on the show. I always enjoy our conversations, and thank you so much for sharing this beautiful music with us tonight. And we're going to play some more of these great songs for our listeners right now as we continue with My Kind of Country. Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Merry Christmas to all the listeners on My Kind of Country. From me, Randy Seymour, and thank you, Scott, for always being that guy who plays those records. Heck, you're at least one half of the entire equation. Thank you.
Well, I'd be doing a great disservice if I didn't play great music like this, that's for sure. And thank you to Jenny Foley for getting us in touch and always doing such a fabulous job of promoting your music and career.
Right on.
It was a cold and windy morning on Beale Street. All the midnight angels slumbered in their childhood dreams, and the sound of lonely solitude floated on each snowflake softly to the ground. Not a soul could be found, and the memories were endless on a Christmas day in Memphis. In her eyes still burned the fire of her shining youth. She was 19 years back in 1952. I can almost see her standing there, waiting on the corner for her leading man, and he would take her by the hand, and his kiss would leave her breathless, like a Christmas day in Memphis. So we left that snowy scene to pay a visit to the king and gaze upon the lights outside of Graceland. If I had known how soon her time was ending, we'd have never left those iron gates on a Christmas day in Memphis. So I turned my back, my collar slowly to the wind, try to make it through another cold December day again. But I could flood that Mississippi if I let go of the tears I wanna cry. It might be easier to die when I think about all the things I'm missing on a Christmas day in Memphis. On a Christmas day in Memphis, a snowy Christmas day in Memphis.